Reddit, have you ever taken a small risk that ended up changing your entire life? Today's story comes from a guy who went to a storage unit auction just for fun and ended up finding something that a massive tech corporation thought they had lost forever. This is a story of luck, legal battles, and the ultimate payday. I was 23, working a dead end job at a car wash, and living in a tiny apartment with two roommates. My hobby on the weekends was going to blind storage unit auctions. You know the ones, where the owners haven't paid rent in months and the facility sells the contents to the highest bidder. Usually it's just old mattresses and broken Christmas decorations. One Saturday, I was at a facility in a tech-heavy part of California. Most of the units were being ignored because they looked like they just held office junk. Unit 402 was different. It was packed with heavy, black equipment cases, the kind used for expensive cameras or medical gear. Nobody bid on it because the cases were covered in thick dust and some weird oily residue. I had $500 in my pocket, which was half my rent. Something told me to go for it. I won the unit for exactly $450. When I opened those black cases, I didn't find cameras. I found prototype hardware. There were server blades, strange-looking tablets with no branding, and thousands of pages of printed schematics. One of the tablets actually turned on. When it booted up, a logo appeared that made my heart stop. It was the logo of a massive, multi-billion-dollar smartphone company that I won't name, but their name starts with a fruit. I realized I had found a lost R&D unit. I did some digging and found out this unit had been rented by a former lead engineer who had passed away unexpectedly 2 years prior. The company had apparently lost track of where his physical research had gone. I didn't try to sell it on eBay. I'm not that stupid. I called a lawyer who specialized in intellectual property. 2 days later, I was sitting in a high-end office with 3 men in suits who looked like they hadn't smiled since the 90s. They tried to tell me that the property was stolen and I had to return it immediately or face jail time. My lawyer was a shark. He calmly pointed out that I had purchased the contents legally at a public auction after the company failed to claim the property for over 2 years. Under the law of that state, the title of the property had passed to me. My client doesn't want your secrets, my lawyer said. He just wants to be compensated for the storage and finder's services he has provided. They offered me $10,000. We laughed. They offered $50,000. We stood up to leave. Finally, after 4 hours of intense negotiation, they realized that if those prototypes hit the public market, their competitors would pay tens of millions for them. They ended up paying me a consulting fee of $750,000 to catalog and return the items, plus a strict non-disclosure agreement. I went from washing cars to owning a house in a single weekend. The moral of the story? Sometimes the junk in the back of the room is the treasure that changes everything.